So I'm excited to have Scott McKinley here to share what it is exactly that everyone here needs as you're considering the next step in your process to start and build your successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax practice. So Scott, with your expertise and having done this now for 8 or more years, I know you have stories to tell. I know that you have experiences to share of individuals as to what it is they're doing today as they start and build their practices. And I'm eager to hear what it is you're going to share with us all.
Well, it's really weird. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be teaching this. I'm used to giving this information in a Courtyard by Marriott or a Hilton Garden Inn somewhere in North America. And today I'm doing it from a home office. So this is really cool.
Well, I will tell you that I think because of just your natural way of doing a presentation, either would be engaging, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you to everybody who's tuning in today, everybody who's listening or watching this if it's pre-recorded. The message stays the same. So that's why we're excited to get this up on this format. A little bit of an introduction about who I am and why it is that I teach this class. I started working with Universal Accounting back in 2006. And when I came into the company, I saw these guys that were going out and they were making these presentations and they were working with individuals in different cities across the country and up in Canada. And I thought that looks like an amazing opportunity to get out and really give something back to people. So I started pursuing the opportunity to get out and be traveling and teaching this class on the road. But at the same time, I was working one-on-one with the students in the capacity of the marketing coach. So I was helping individuals that are probably where a lot of you are at right now. You are kind of in between the decision, should I really do this? Is this something that I really can do? Is this achievable? Is this profitable? Is this going to be easy for me? But I also have been working with people that have started their practice, and they struggle at the one area, which is having the answers to know what to do when they're put in situations when it comes to going out and getting clients and making presentations and saying the right things. And so understand what the purpose of this webinar is going to be about today. So I've listed a couple of things that I want you to understand. This is what we're going to be talking about. And stories, just like Roger said, that come from 11 years of being a marketing coach and assisting people in the practice development. Also going to be coming from a lot of books that I've read, a lot of things that I've heard other presenters sharing over the years. The big book that I'm going to be referencing a lot is Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, it's your homework assignment for tonight is to go out there, get a copy of Think and Grow Rich, and start reading that, and about that when you've got it finished. So you'll find a way to contact me at the end of the webinar, because the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the number one obstacle that you have to overcome in starting these practices. From what the book Think and Grow Rich. The second thing that we're going to be getting into is touching on our best to use your skills, your designations, your degrees in accounting, most money, and have the most opportunity. The third thing that we'll be focusing on for those of you who haven't started your practice yet is answering those questions that are probably hanging over your head. How do I get started? How much is the cost to start a practice? What are the things that I need to have? Do I need to get this? Do I need to get that? A, B, C. All of the things we're going to go through today. About the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with the most. For every time a CPA told me that they just don't know how to reach clients, they just don't know how to market, I would have probably retired 5 years ago with plenty of money, because that is one of the biggest struggles, is overcoming this inability to go out or to be able to see themselves as marketers. And so we're gonna spend some time talking about some things that we've learned at Universal Accounting to give you an advantage over your competition by learning to say things the right way. Then we're going to talk about charging and the strategy that we've proven at Universal Accounting to be effective for working with small business owners. So they're not focused on the price. We want them focusing on the value. Then we'll talk about what Universal Accounting does as a school to provide continuing professional education, helping individuals to fill in the gaps that are existing in their training. The gaps when it comes to doing the set of books for small business owners. Maybe they've done 1 or 2 industries, but they don't want to just limit themselves to just those 2. So we'll talk about the professional bookkeeper program and the designation that that comes with. We'll talk about the professional tax preparer program and how that prepares the students that Universal Accounting works with to do taxes for individuals, but as well as those business returns that can yield a high return. And then we'll talk about QuickBooks, because even though there are more and more accounting software programs that seem to appear on the market today, QuickBooks still holds the market share because Intuit does a really good job at marketing to small businesses. So we're going to talk about those different designations. Now, the good and the bad news is this. The good news is that the United States and Canada, they do not require you to have any professional certification to do bookkeeping, because it means anybody can do bookkeeping if they want. But the bad news is anybody can do bookkeeping. So we have these knuckleheads who are running around killing the industry because they're offering these low-level bookkeeping services. They're offering this ridiculous price of $99 a month as a flat rate to do the bookkeeping, and they're only giving a portion of the bookkeeping. What we're going to be talking about today, what we teach at Universal Accounting, what I coach my students on is 100%, not 20, not 30, not 50, not 75. We want you offering 100% accounting. And by doing the things that we teach at Universal Accounting, I know that there will be people today listening to this presentation who will take notes, who then will take action, who will go out and they will find success. I know it because I've seen it over the last decade. If you take action by following the direction of a proven system, you will get results. But I also know that there are people that are listening that are going to take notes, they're going to get distracted, they're going to walk away from the presentation, and they're not going to have success. It's only by following a proven system that you're going to be able to have success quickly. And that's what we're looking for, is fast results. So when I talk about success, I mean, success could mean something different for everybody. But as a marketing coach, success sounds like, I'm going to play you a voicemail from one of our students. His name is Scott. He's calling in. This voicemail was 12 days after listening to a presentation just like this. And I want you to be asking yourself this question as you're listening to this voicemail. Calling Scott or Roger 12 days from now with this type of information. Listen. Oh, hang on a second. It went away. I don't know why my voicemail isn't there. I'll play it a little bit later on. It's a good one, but we're going to just go ahead and move on. About Universal Accounting, who they are. Universal Accounting started as a school back in 1979, but the story for Universal Accounting goes back a little bit further. There's a gentleman who was named Alf Bostrom. And Alf Bostrom was given the nickname the Turnaround King because he would work with businesses that were failing and businesses that were struggling, and he would apply basic bookkeeping accounting principles to businesses that didn't have any, and was able to use that information just like we know today. If you use accounting information, answers that's going to help you as a consultant work with these business owners to have them gain wisdom in their business. We'll discuss how wisdom is gained, but that's the overall objective, is to have business owners making decisions not based on data, but based on actual experience of things that they've learned. So in 1979, Alf Bostrom turned as a consultant in helping these businesses to turn around, and he started applying it to small business bookkeeping. Because those of you that have a degree in accounting, I'm just going to say this right now, how much time did you spend working on this when you got your degree? But we know as a small business bookkeeping system, there's no wisdom in here. This is just raw data. That's all this is. So what Universal Accounting does is we work with individuals and we teach them how to take those types of systems and turn them into an actual workable, usable system that generates the information, that leads to knowledge, that becomes wisdom for the business owners that they work with. 9, Universal Accounting has trained thousands of individuals in understanding small business bookkeeping, not corporate level accounting, but small business, because small business owners are all unique and they think that they're all different. And so one of the programs that Universal Accounting offers, the professional bookkeeper course that I'll be speaking about later on, it teaches our students how to do a set of books from beginning to end, not just in theory, but actual hands-on practice, creating a set of books, either as a replacement for a previous accountant or for a business that didn't have any bookkeeping system going on whatsoever. So we teach them how to work and to communicate, to have that confidence to go out and speak to these business owners, but also to keep those clients coming back. Because as we talk about a little bit later on, you're going to see that it's not just the confidence to go out and attract a client that's going to make you successful. It's going to be your ability to hold on to those clients. So we are located in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where our corporate office is. We have been recognized as an Inc. 500 company and an Inc. 5000 company because we actually practice what we preach. We teach our students how to go out and be profit and growth experts, how to use the accounting information to make better decisions that should relate to a higher profitability for the business. And so teach and the students that we've worked with, these are some of the organizations that we've been affiliated with over the years that back up that what we're teaching is usable, it's practical. This is the type of information that business owners need. And so sharing stories about students that we've worked with and experiences that we've had that all underline the importance of being a bookkeeper. You're not just accountants. You're not just tax preparers. You're business owners. And so what we need to do is we need to focus on you as a business owner. The fact that you're watching this presentation about starting your own practice, I want you to start looking at yourself differently. I don't want you to just see yourself as another bookkeeper or accountant or another CPA or enrolled agent. I want you to see yourself as a business owner. Think about owning a business. One of the first things when I ask people that are at my live class, why in starting a business, the first thing that they say is, I want flexibility. I want independence. I want to be able to set my own hours. I'm tired of people telling me who to work with and when I have to work. The second thing that people say is driving them and motivating them to start their business is the fact that they know that they're leaving money on the table. Either they know that they're working for somebody else, they know what they get billed out at, but they also see what they're being paid hourly, and there's a big discrepancy. Well, I mean, there's a rightful reason for that. If you're working for somebody and they're providing the work for you, they're the one that's doing the marketing. The retail space that you're working in most cases, you probably are working in an office. Well, they pay for the office. They pay for the utilities. They pay for the electric bills, all of those things. But this is the good news. If they can learn to market, you can too. Just a formula. That fear that might exist if I've never learned how to do it. If you enjoy working with formulas, we can teach you how to market. Now, then there's the concept of, do I have to go out and lease an expensive office? Here's the good news. No, you don't. Majority of the people that are doing this have their own home-based office. So work from home, you know that can be to have a home-based office. The commute doesn't exist. When you're done with a client, you don't have to make yourself look busy. You can work on something that you choose to work on. Maybe you can take advantage of the fact that you're home so you can run errands for your family. You can pick your kids up from school. Whatever it is, if you're working for yourself as a freelance bookkeeper, tax preparer, and you've got clients that are having you do their books, do you really think they care you're working on their books? Of course not. So you set your own schedule. Now, all of these things are what make people want to start their own business. Flexibility, more money, the ability to work from home, work on their schedule. There's a variety of different industries that you can get into to work for yourself. But as we've stated before, Forbes magazine over the years has said repeatedly that the #1 business to own and operate during a down economy is accounting services. And this industry, like it says in this article, includes services like bookkeeping, designing accounting systems, statements, tax returns. It says right there, a big yawn, until you see the profits start to pile up. Now, there's 3 reasons that Forbes is saying that this industry is #1. The first is the pricing power. Who needs bookkeeping? Who needs accounting? If you own a business, you need it. Who needs taxes? Everybody needs taxes. So the demand for this industry, doesn't matter where you're at, doesn't matter what the economy looks like. That's the first thing I want you to write down. Contemplate starting a practice. I want you to write down that the demand for this practice will never be filled. There are more businesses out there than there are qualified bookkeepers who know what they're doing. The second reason, the cost to run the business is extremely low. We're going to go through the cost to start the business today. Aside from some marketing expenses, you don't have to go out and lease the office. You've got the home-based office. You actually can get deductions on your mortgage and your rent and your utilities, because if you operate a business out of home, you can write off a percentage of square footage. So the cost to run the business is low. That's #2. The marketing scale, because what we're talking about is we're talking about monthly bookkeeping clients. They come back every month. This isn't just a one-time consumable. This is a subscription type service where every month they come back. If you're doing taxes, it's every year. You should be doubling the number of taxes that you're doing. So there you go. If you've been thinking, should I do this? I'm kind of thinking between this and maybe another industry. This is the #1 industry to own and operate. Now, what's the thing that holds people back? When I ask this question in my live class, I say, what is it that has stopped you from moving forward? Think about that right now. What has stopped you from moving forward? I'm willing to bet that it's you don't know how to do it, or there's confusion. And as Tony Robbins says, a confused mind will always say no. Maybe there's the thought of, well, what if I don't do it right and I get sued? What if I don't do the books the right way and my customers get unhappy and they fire me and I don't have any clients? If I don't have any clients, I'm not going to have any money. If I don't have any money, how am I going to pay for my living expenses? How am I going to support my family? So all of these reasons that might be stopping from moving forward into one word. And it's the F word. It's fear. Now, I said at the beginning of this workshop or presentation, we were going to address the #1 thing that is the biggest obstacle that each and every one of you have to overcome. It's not the market. It's not the opportunity. It's not the training. It's not the ability to learn how to get clients. It's not the ability to do the work. All of those things can be, the biggest obstacle is that jerk in the back of our minds, that ego that we have that motivates us based off of fear and off of emotions. That's not you. That your ego, that fear, that's not you. From years and years of programming and picking up paradigms and watching other people and learning from them. If you can learn to silence the fear, you can do anything you want to do. Back to Napoleon's book, Think and Grow Rich. He talks about He talks about the power of our thoughts. Now, beginning of the class, as I've been a marketing coach for the last 11 years, I started to the reasons that people moving forward and obstacles that they face. And I started reading more and more books like Think and Grow Rich, and I started learning about this power of our minds that exists out there. And so as I read more and more books about that, I started applying that principle of the law of attraction to my own personal life, my family life, the things that I was accomplishing. And then I started teaching my students about that. And it all goes back to Think and Grow Rich. Grow Rich, Napoleon quotes William Ernest Henley's poem Invictus, where he says, "I am the master of my fate." And he goes on to say that in reference to the poem, the author should have told us with great emphasis this ability with our mind, this law of attraction, attempt to discriminate between destructive thoughts, that it will urge us to translate into physical reality thoughts of poverty, as it will influence us to act upon thoughts of riches. It told us too that our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts which we hold in our minds, and by means which no man is familiar, attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life which harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. Very powerful truth statement right there. And if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, I want you to really step back and look at that. Ask yourself, the things that have manifested in my life, have they been because they were my main thoughts, my main focuses? Maybe there are things that are manifesting that are things that we don't want. Right here, those destructive thoughts, constructive thoughts, if they become those dominant thoughts, focused on is fear. A couple slides here. If all you're worried about is not knowing how to get clients, not being able to keep the clients, not having any money, nobody wants to talk to me, I don't know how to market, dominant thoughts are, then look at what Napoleon says. Those dominant thoughts which we hold in our minds is the forces, the people, and the circumstances which harmonize with those dominant thoughts. Personally, seen experiences in my life where my dominant thoughts were all destructive, those destructive thoughts manifested. So back in 2012, I decided to test all of this. I got certified as a law of attraction practitioner, and I started putting things to the test. And I made sure that my thoughts focused on fears, but they were focused on what I wanted. So I ask you right now, start listing the things that you want. What do you want? You want to have independence. That needs to be your focus. You want to have more money? That needs to be the focus. Not having a lack of money, not having clients, but having more money to do the things that you want. Having the ability to be able to work from home. What is that like? Like for you when you work from home? I want you to think about what your day would be like. When we're done with this, make a list of what it would mean to be able to work for yourself from home, having independence, having extra money, being able to help you develop a marketing strategy. I don't have a marketing strategy. Say, I need to figure out a marketing strategy. I need to work with people that can help me magnetize clients. I want to work with a coach who can train me and teach me how to overcome these fears and focus on what I really want so I can be the consultant and I can grow a profitable business. To make these the thoughts that are your only option. In reading the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about Cortez and how when Cortez conquered Mexico, they landed, and he ordered his soldiers to burn the boats. He didn't want a plan B. He said, plan A is our only option, and this is got to be your only option, is success. It comes to those people who focus on it, who eat, sleep, and breathe success and focus on what their business is going to look like. You are in the process of achieving these things right here. This, accomplishing the business that is successful, that earns you the money, that gives you the freedom and the flexibility. What would you rather focus on? Fear? Solutions that lead to this. So from today on, I want you to say to yourself, I am in the process. I'm in the process of building a business. I'm in the process of earning the money that I need to live off of so I can work for myself. I'm in the process of developing marketing strategies. I'm in the process of being a successful business owner. That's a true statement. Process. So, as we talk about your process, I want you to begin with the end in mind, so to speak. This is a concept that actually Roger Connect talks about in the Universal Practice Builder, which is a marketing program that Universal Accounting teaches. Let's get started thinking about you. Let's talk about your business. How much do you want to earn from this business? Earning in billings, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year. I want you to write that number out, write it down. Once you have your number of total annual billings, and for some people it's, well, I want to be done with this job that I'm working at right now, and I'm making $80,000 a year pre-tax, so it's $80,000 in annual billings. Great. Maybe some of you are watching this going, I'm retired. I want to be working 40 hours a week. I only want to work 10 hours a week. I only want to be making, maybe an extra $20,000 a year money so I can go on vacation or go on a couple cruises or be golfing or whatever it is that you choose to be doing, spoiling your grandkids. I don't care. Maybe it's, I want to be doing something while I'm still going to school, so I just need a couple clients to be able to supplement that and those things annually. Once you have that number written down, I want you to take your total number of billings and I want you to divide that number by 5,000. What we're looking to get here is an idea of how hard you need to be working. Have your number, you've divided it by 5,000. Let's say you had $100,000 in billings. That would mean you would have the number 20. If you had $50,000 in billings, you've got the number 10. Start with the top number, the $100,000 in billings with the number 20. That number 20, number of monthly bookkeeping clients that you're going to need to be working with. This is bookkeeping, data entry, data processing, monthly consultation, sitting down, explaining the financial reports. This does not include taxes. We'll talk about taxes here in just a minute. This is just monthly bookkeeping with those financial reports. So if you've got $100,000 in billings, that would mean be working with 20 monthly bookkeeping clients. Now, what we've learned 40 years, 38, going on 40 years of working with individuals in this is that the average monthly bookkeeping client is going to take about 8 hours a month to do their books. 20 clients at 8 hours a month, that means you're working 40 hours a week on your schedule in your home-based office, and you're working and you're earning $100,000 in billings. If you had 10 clients that you needed, you wanted $50,000 in billings, that would mean you would be working 20 hours a week with those 10 clients in your own home-based office on your schedule, earning $50,000. So when we say that the opportunity to make the best money in this industry is by learning how to get small business owners to outsource their bookkeeping needs to you and you become the freelance bookkeeper that has your own business, this is what we mean. Because I'm pretty sure that there's not a lot of accounting firms and CPA firms that are going to pay you $50,000 a year to be working 20 hours a week. No, they're going to expect you to be working crazy hours. They're going to expect you during tax season to be working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours. I know because I've experienced it in this industry. And you might be saying that to yourself. Oh my gosh, he's right. I've worked for an accountant for years, and during tax season, it's a nightmare. Who would you rather work for? Money or working for yourself, earning your own money? Figure that out. The average monthly bookkeeping client is going to pay you between $400 to $500 a month. So that's why we said it was $5,000. We just rounded up a little bit. Now, according to the AICPA, the average life of a client sticking with their accountant is 6 years. When I say to be able to have the confidence to go out and attract the client, yeah, that's one thing. But the competency coming back month after month, this is why. Because that one client, that $400 a month client, is worth almost $30,000 in the long run. So we want to make sure that we're doing the things that are going to keep these clients coming back. Now, how many businesses are out there? There's 27.6 million businesses that are registered in the United States. This is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. 27.6 million. The problem is that number, that includes everybody, all the big corporations. That includes the courtyards that I teach this class at usually. That includes the Dillards and the Walmarts and the Nordstroms and the big corporations. So what we've got to do is we've got to whittle those numbers down. And to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can get this information. The business is broken down by the number of employees that they have. So take a look at that 0.4%. That 0.4% represents businesses that have 100 or more employees. It represents businesses that have between 99 20 employees. And 0.6%, or we'll just call that the majority of businesses that are registered in the United States, have less than 20 employees. 27 million businesses that are registered in the United States that have less than 20 employees. If you're watching this from Canada, similar statistic. It's between 80 and 92% that have less than 20 employees. So if you've been looking for a job, if you've been sending out your resume, hoping to use your degree and your designation, you've got to realize if you're trying to get hired on with a bigger company, you're competing with every other degreed accountant for 2.4% of the jobs. But there's 27 million small business owners that are out there. And the really important thing to point out is that this 27 million is counting those businesses that have registered for a license. There's probably another 20 million businesses that are out there who haven't registered for any type of license. They don't have their business structure set up yet. They're just operating, they're taking clients, they're bringing money in, and therefore they need bookkeeping. Only looking at the registered business, and there's 97, I'm going to call it 98%. 98% of the businesses that are out there need your help. Stop wasting time sending in resumes, trying to get hired on with a corporation that when the time comes to increase the value of their stock, what are they going to do? They're going to lay people off. And who gets laid off first? The accounting department. Keep that in mind. Now, we've got to look at these businesses, these 27 million businesses that are out there. Same three functions that have to happen for every business to be successful. They've got to have accounting, they've got to have marketing, they've got to have production. Functions, if you take one of them away, the business is not going to succeed. It's not going to be profitable. If you take away marketing, the business is done because there's no new clients coming in. You can only service the current clients that you have. And we've all heard the old adage, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you take away production, marketing and accounting doesn't mean anything. You can get clients, but there's nobody there to service the offerings that are being made. Accounting, which is the most neglected in business, when that gets taken away, there's no way for marketing and production to be communicating with each other. We don't know if we're making the investment back for the dollars that are spent on marketing when it comes to the production. There's a lot of times that businesses offer a product or they offer a service and the business is actually losing money on it because the cost to market it is so much higher than the cost to sell it. I love to use the analogy of a landscaper who works for a business owner. He's the foreman of the landscaping team. And for 15 years, he works for this business owner. And every day, the business owner drives by in his truck. Sweet tea if he's in the South during summer, drinking his coffee. He's up in the Northwest during the wintertime, driving by in his nice warm truck, his nice air-conditioned truck, while the foreman is out working in the field, working with the laborers. And one day, the foreman gets into a fight with the business owner and he says, you know what, that's it. For 15 years, I've done this. I've watched you. I know how to start a business. So he goes to the team and says, come with me. Let's go start our own business. I won't treat you like this guy treats us. So they go out, they start their own landscaping business. Michael Gerber, in his book, The E-Myth Revisited, he addresses this. He says that most startups, most small businesses, they began with the technician having an entrepreneurial seizure. In this story, the technician, the guy that was his job, decides, hey, I could do this better. I could do this better. I could make more money. I could be in charge. Very similar to how you guys are all. You can do this better. You can be in charge. You can do this for yourself. So he decides to start his own landscaping business. If you look at these three functions, production, marketing, and accounting. We're going to go in descending order. We're going to start with production. If you ask this business owner on a scale of 1 to 10, production is 10 being the highest, what do you think he would tell you? 10. It's what they know. That's why he started the business. Michael Gerber said it. Technicians having entrepreneurial seizures. That's why businesses become a thing. Production is at a 10. Great. I want you to think of each one of these functions as the leg of a stool. That stool represents the business. To have these three functions functioning at 100% so the business owner can walk away from the business and it's stable. So the first leg on his business stool is production, and that's at 100%. Great. Can he walk away from it yet? Nope. Because it's only got the one leg. So he's got to be there on top of it and support it. Owners feel overworked and underpaid is because they're constantly connected to the business. They are the business. So we've got to get the other functions happening. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank marketing for your business? And here's where you're going to get probably a 4 or a 5. At the last job, they would make a flyer and they would staple a rubber band to it and they would hang it on the doors. So they got these flyers out and they got a little word of mouth, a 4 or a 5. But already you can imagine isn't set up for profit and growth. It's not balanced. They're still having to hang on to that stool. Let's get to the last function. Accounting. 10. What do you think these landscapers, this business owner, would tell you his accounting is at? We could be generous and give him a 1. That's a 1 when it comes to. So you can see that these 27 million business owners that are out there that are focusing on production, giving more attention to marketing than accounting, and accounting is just going by the wayside, they're the ones that need our help. Them to have to go out and learn to do accounting because they started their own business. When a business owner applies for a license or gets a formation, an LLC or an S Corp, they're not required to go out and take any type of accounting courses. License, and they're told, good luck. They need to go focus on the things that they do best. Accounting best. We take that data, we turn it into information. That information becomes knowledge. That knowledge becomes wisdom. This is how business owners run successful businesses. This is how businesses don't fail, is they run their business based on wisdom. Again, if you go back and look at this slide, And if business owners who think that H&R Block is the #1 accounting firm, that was actually the top answer when business owners were asked by the Pew Research Center to list the #1 accounting firm, the top answer came back as H&R Block. If they think that H&R Block is the #1 accounting firm and that every year they just take the shoebox or their Tupperware container or their Glad bags or their wheelbarrows or whatever they're keeping all this data in that they're not doing anything with, and they take that to H&R Block, they're not getting the wisdom that they need. They're down there at the bottom of the wisdom pyramid. All they have is data. And then at the end of the year, they get the information to file their taxes, and it is what it is. And there's no knowledge to make changes. There's nobody helping them to consult with them. And this is why business owners need a good bookkeeper who can perform this task for them so they can go do what they do best. They can go run their business. They can go work on the business, and you work in the business. 10 million business owners with fewer than 20 employees. This is who we're out there targeting. So if you've got 20 clients written down, you want to make $100,000 in business, ask yourself this question. Out of 27 million businesses that are registered in the United States, 20 of those as my clients? The answer is yes, 100%. Maybe you don't know how to do that. Maybe that's not your experience. That's okay. There's formulas that are out there. We can teach you how to do that. We're going to talk about the best approach to speaking with business owners. But before we can do that, we've got to realize that if these business owners need our help, then thinking about this. You can't just sit there and go, okay, so I need to give it a little bit more consideration before I get started. I need to go wrong. No, think about what could go right. Think about those successes that you want to see manifest, theoretically speaking. Burn that boat of failure. Stop thinking about failure. Failure is not an option. Success is the option. Back to Napoleon Hill. He says in Think and Grow Rich that analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark. This is a guy who interviewed Henry Ford and Thomas Edison and Wrigley and Carnegie, these guys that were the Steve Jobs and the Bill Gates of our times back in the early 1900s. He says analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly, these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. People who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing those decisions quickly and often. Rewards action, ladies and gentlemen. Proven fact. You can't just think about this anymore. Those business owners need your help. So let's get started. How to start your practice for under $100. The first thing that you need to do is you've got to decide, what's my business name gonna be? Why do you need to decide what your business name is gonna be? Because then you can order your business cards. What you got to do is decide your business name, and gosh, would you believe it if I told you that this is where a lot of people run into that first wall? Oh my gosh, what's the name of my business gonna be? Should it be Profitable Accounting Solutions? What about Windmill Bookkeeping Services? Oh, how about AAA Bookkeeping Services? What about my last name and my initials? If you spend more than 30 minutes thinking about the name of your business, then the name of your business is going to be your last name, Bookkeeping and Tax Services. That's it. It's as easy as that. If you live in Texas, you can't use the word accounting if you're not a CPA. But that's okay, because you don't need to say accounting. McKinley's, it's a wide spectrum of different things. If your last name is McKinley, then I would say use McKinley Business. If not, feel free to use McKinley Business Solutions, but they're going to wonder why your name is Jackson and the business name is McKinley. If your last name is Swindle, don't use your last name. If your last name is Madoff, if it's something that's off-putting, then don't use your last name. If it's really difficult to pronounce or it's really complicated and long, use your initials, okay? But if you spend more than 30 minutes, it's your initials or your last name, Bookkeeping Business Solutions, okay? If you want help, email me. My email address is Scott M as in McKinley, Scott M at universalaccounting.com. Send me your thoughts. I'll give you my perspective on it. Successful work with coaches. Once you get the name of your business, go to Vistaprint. It's $10 to order your business cards from Vistaprint. And it's the same thing in Canada, except it's vistaprint.ca. Don't fall for their tricks. They are going to throw some really cool things at you, different things that you can put on the card, borders, outlines, holograms, gloss, calendars on the back. Don't put a calendar. Don't pay to put a calendar on the back of your business card. When's the last time you wanted to know the date for something and you ran and got a business card that somebody gave you because it had a calendar on it? Or do you just pick up your phone and look at the calendar on your phone, right? So don't put anything on the back of the card. Keep that open. You want them to be able to write down dates or information or appointments or things like that on the back of the card. If you make it glossy, you can't write on the card because the normal pens, the gel pens or the ballpoint pens that we have, they don't write very well on those. So keep it simple. Stick to the $9.99. Go to the business in Vistaprint. There are hundreds of templates to choose from. If you get overwhelmed, send me your ideas, your thoughts. Send me the template that you're looking at. I'll give you my feedback. Keep your business card simple, $10. The next thing you need to do is market. Now, I think one of the things that has caused Universal Accounting to be a powerful force in this industry over the last 38 years is the fact that we get that it's not your accounting, bookkeeping, tax skills that are going to make you successful. I have coached and dozens of CPAs who had the highest training in the land to save their life. Because it's not your accounting skills that are going to make you successful. It's your ability to market. The programs that Universal Accounting teaches in the 4th module of the bookkeeping course, in the 4th module of the tax course, it's about marketing. It's about starting your practice. It's teaching you competitive advantages. The first competitive advantage that we teach our student is to send out a marketing letter to your friends and family. That you're starting your business. You're not soliciting the business to them. Businesses, maybe some do. But all you're saying is, hey, after 5 years of tossing around the idea, or after 6 weeks of thinking about doing it, I finally started my own practice. Small business owners. I'm going to help small business owners to legally lower their taxes and increase their profits. If you know somebody that owns a business, do me a favor. Tell them about me. Business cards in this letter. Notice how it doesn't say marketing email. It says marketing letter. You don't send this as an email. How many emails are in your inbox right now that are unread, that are just waiting for you to go through, pick up your phone, select your email, hit edit, and then go delete, 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 scroll, delete, 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 scroll, start over. That's what people do with emails. A letter that comes in the mail. It's in their hand. You hand address the envelope. Personalized. Just envelope from your grandma, the check for your birthday, right? We see that. It triggers these thoughts of grandma sending us money. Been gone for 20 years. You still see it and go, ooh, hand address. So hand address yours in the envelopes. Bribe your friends and family. Tell them that if they send you a referral that becomes a paid client, you'll take them to dinner, or you'll send them a Visa gift card or an Amazon card, whatever. It will get them to send you referrals. You don't know who they know. Maybe your aunt who you're sending this letter to, she's at the hair salon that she gets her hair done at for the last 15 years. And she's sitting there talking to the owner, the stylist that's been doing her hair, and things are going, and the stylist goes, oh my gosh, it's been the worst week. Got the week from hell. My assistant just quit on me. My other My other stylist is out on maternity leave. I'm overworked, and then on top of it, and your aunt goes, I just got a letter from my nephew. Just let me know. He started his own accounting practice, his own bookkeeping practice. He's working with small business owners. He said something about lowering taxes and increasing profits. And that stylist is going to go, oh my gosh, have him call me. I'll have him call you tonight. You will leverage relationships of trust to get clients. This industry is built around trust and relationships. For advantage. Make a list of all your friends and family. If you don't have their address, that's okay. Say, hey, I'm sending out a letter about my business. Business card, what's your address? It's as easy as that. Don't sending this letter. Have excitement. Clients. You're going to get your first client as a referral from somebody you know. So let's get out there and let's tell people about it. This letter, 40 bucks. I think 40 bucks is a lot. You can out a ton of letters for 40 bucks. Go out and buy some nice paper. Xerox paper. Send this on something that's a little bit nicer. Envelopes. Some page. 40 bucks. The last thing you need to start your practice is QuickBooks. Online, you pay $30 a month. Why do it online? You work remotely. You can work from your balcony in Honolulu, balcony in Long Beach, Washington. You're on vacation with your family. When a client calls and says, hey, I need to make a purchase, can you check something? You get it in online. You're able to do it. You're not tied to a PC at your house. Books Online is you get all the updates for free every year. If you buy the hard copy of QuickBooks, you've got to pay for those upgrades every year, and they do those upgrades. So you might as well just pay $30 a month. See that as an expense that your clients are going to pay for. Wise people get other people to pay for what they want. That's it. That's what you need to get started. And you can start your practice. Business cards, marketing letters, QuickBooks Online. Now, are there going to be other expenses that are going to come along the way? Of course there are. You're going to want to get a website at some point. You need a website to get started. You might want to have a monogrammed shirt with your business name and logo on it. That's fine. But you don't need that to get started. You need business cards with letters to send so you can start getting clients. You need QuickBooks so you can start doing their books. Why is now the best part? Because tax. They're already making Christmas lists. It's August. We're going to blink. And if you're in one of the unfortunate parts of the country, depending on how you view it, there's going to be snow on the ground soon. And with the snow, business owners need help. There's a couple things that we can say to these business owners. They're reluctant to come and speak to us throughout the year. What's the corporate name for our position? It's controller. Right? This image, the business owner. They don't want us to come in and control their business. This is what puts food on the table for their kids, for their families. We don't want to give the impression that we're going to come in and boss them around and tell them what they're going to do. So to come away from desks and be willing to work with us and speak with us, we don't want to make them feel dumb. I've worked with somebody in the past who criticized me for something, and it was unnecessary. And worked with that person. Do you think I gave that person money to make me feel dumb? Absolutely not. Have a good bedside manner when you find that business owner that hasn't filed taxes in 5 years. Don't criticize them. Let them know that you're going to help get this taken care of, getting that peace of mind and knowing that we're going to straighten this mess out. You're going to have. That's what they want to hear from you. They don't want criticism. They don't want to be worried about the cost associated with your service. So we've got to approach them where these things we've addressed very nonchalantly. These things in our approach if we do it the right way by learning what to say, because they need our help. And if they don't get our help, they just get frustrated. They worry. They know they aren't doing things the right way. And down their neck. They could lose their whole business. But we've got to get out there with the right approach. So what do we say? I hear accountants stand up and talk. I go to networking groups. So I go to different organizations to business owners. And when the accountants, when it's their turn to stand up, they say, "Hi, my name is Scott McKinley with McKinley Firm, CPA, whatever. We are your tax planning experts. When we strategize for tax planning, we help set up management controls. We can help with your cash flow management. We can do bank reconciliation. We can prepare your P&L, your balance sheet, your statement of cash flow. We do industry benchmarking. So if you want to have a strategy for your taxes this year, then speak with McKinley Bookkeeping Services, LLC." Thank you. We just sat there and listened, and we might understand what that means. And I want you to think about that landscaper that we were talking about earlier this morning. The landscaper, what does he hear when you're saying tax strategy? Tax planning strategy. Boy, you want me to plan to spend money. That's what you want. You want me to plan on how much money I'm going to have to spend. They hear that. They hear profit and loss statement or a P&L or a balance sheet. They don't know what that is. They didn't have to take the test when they got their license. They don't know what bank reconciliation is, and I'll prove that point coming up here in just a minute. They don't understand benchmarking. So when you're standing up and you're speaking very intelligently about what you do, they only hear don't know what tax planning and tax preparation is. They don't know what management controls are. What's the one word you think that they're focusing on in that one? Controller. Giving up control of my business. Woo, no, not interested. Cash flow management. Let me just tell you. I have a student from Albuquerque. When she called to tell me this, she had just picked up a new client, and she was going over his chart of accounts. They'd agreed that his monthly fee was going to be about $400 a month. So they're looking at his chart of accounts, and she notices every month he's been spending $400 a month in this unmarked account. So she says, "So what's this $400 for?" And with pride almost, he said, "Oh, I budget $400 and that goes to cover all of my overdraft fees with the bank." Understand cash flow management. This is why I'm like this knucklehead down accountant that just sits in the back of the room wearing the visor, the band around the shirt, crunching numbers. This is the guy that's just another operating expense for the business. This is the guy that's just doing the features, and features just don't sell. We have to turn these features into benefits or what sell. So tax planning, what's the benefit? What are we trying to do? For liability throughout the month and capture every deduction for every month throughout the year. We're having their books done before the year is over. We know what their financial situation looks like, and if they're profitable, use that cash as a cash option, their liability. So the whole purpose of tax planning is to lower taxes. Do business owners care about that? You say to a business owner, "I can help you legally lower your taxes." Better yet, if you ask a business owner, "Did you pay more in taxes than you wanted to last year?" What's every business owner going to say to that? "Of course I did." Yep, absolutely, 100%. Different this year than you did last year. What's your type of work into my CPA at the end of the year? Then you're not just. But if you want to learn to lower your taxes, I can help you. And when they say yes, boom, you set an appointment. You take action. You set an appointment. Let's talk. Let me come and explain how I can help taxes. I don't know how I can do it yet for your business, but with most businesses that I work with, this is one of the first things we can do. Controls. What's the benefit of management controls? And we eliminated expenses, right? The controller looks to see, why are we spending money here? It's not making us any money. This money, this is just frivolous expense. This is just a waste. Why are we doing this? The whole point is to increase the profits of the business. Is that something business owners care about? Do business owners care about increasing profits? Yup. Are you as profitable as you should be? Do you know? And when they say no, I don't know. I'd like to think I am. You've got to have the numbers to prove that what you're doing is effective. And I can help you with that. Your profits by setting up some systems in your business. Does that interest you? Yes. Great. Let's get together. You set the appointment. The benefit of the cash flow management. Albuquerque's problem. This business owner that was budgeting $400 a month. He didn't know how much money he had in the bank. And spend the money. And budgeting to cover the cost of the overdraft fees. So the whole benefit of cash flow management is that they'll have the money in the bank so they can operate and grow their business. You become the resource that they go to when they say, hey, I was looking to buy a piece of equipment, or I wanted to order some extra supplies this month. It says that I have $10,000. I should have enough to cover that and payroll. Can I make the purchase? And they go, well, let me check. Reconciliation. They, we, us, that's what we do. And we say, you know what? You actually have 2 outstanding checks that could hit at any time, and that will take you down to lower than what you need. So next week, because look at this, next week we have 5 automatic payments. That'll be more than enough to cover it. And the business owner goes, yep, that's fine. I can wait till next week. Thank you. Unnecessary expenses and fees. Profits by doing cash flow management. And the bank. This is what business owners care about. Bring that peace of mind. What we need to focus on in our marketing. Don't just go out and tell them you're in another accountant. Because what do they see? They see the image of the guy with the visor. Tell them that you're a profit and growth expert. And growth expert, they're going to say, what the heck is a profit and growth expert, right? That's what we want them to say. Marketing is getting them to continue the conversation. They think they know what you do. They think you work at H&R Block, and they already do that. Or they already have somebody that does their tax for them. So they don't understand the difference between taxes and monthly bookkeeping. So stop telling people that you're an accountant or that you're a bookkeeper, and tell them that you're a profit and growth expert. Your whole objective is to lower taxes and increase profits and let the business owners know and make sure that they have money in the bank to grow their business. This is it. If you do your job correctly, these benefit this owner. By doing what you do, this is what they get. Save your clients enough money throughout the year to not only pay for your services, but put additional profits back into business. If you agree with that, you're on the right path. If you don't agree with that, then we need to work with you. You can see the advantage and the benefits and the value that comes from bookkeeping. Because guess what? If you don't see the value in yourself, and you're never going to get paid what you're worth. So let's talk about the strategy for getting out there and charging. I know that some of the advertisement for this webinar said earn $40 to $80 an hour. Business owners are offering out there, is it? Looked online, if you've ever gone to Craigslist and looked to see what business owners are offering as a compensation, you'll find they're offering anywhere from $25 an hour, depending on the market that you're in. Some markets are worse, some markets are a little bit better. They see you as an hourly rate because it's all about the price. They're not thinking about these things. They're just thinking about the cost associated with operating expense for the business. That's why so many business owners go out and they get QuickBooks themselves and they do it. They spend 2 hours a night, 5 nights a week working on the books for their business, and they think that they're spending themselves money, opportunity cost of their time. 10 hours a week extra for your business if you didn't have to be seeing and doing the books incorrectly, mind you, inaccurately. The business owners do the books and they bring it to their accountant at the end of the year and they have to go back and they have to redo it. Premium price for all the correcting that needs to go on. Here we go. Monthly fee versus hourly rate. Let's talk about the benefits. Actually, let's not talk about the benefits yet. Let's talk about the hourly rate. The hourly rate. You are going to hopefully that they agree for what they believe they should pay you. That's ridiculous. This is a professional industry deemed as professionals. Attorneys are deemed as professionals. Could you walk into an attorney's office and negotiate with them on the hourly rate? Of course not. They did get out where you can find that attorney for $75 an hour. Excuse me. There's a huge hourly rate because all that's being focused on is the cost rate. And look, let's say you're only at $20 an hour, which is ridiculously low for our industry. But let's just say you're at $20 an hour. That's what you suggest to them when you sit down to do their meeting. Well, that business owner that's working 2 hours a night, 5 nights a week, they sit down and in a blink of an eye, they've done the math. Can't afford you because now they see it as the cost of the time that it takes them to do the books. They don't realize they're trained and highly skilled and you're efficient and you're going to do it at a much higher rate than they're going to do it at. They're comparing it to what they know. Spend 10 hours a week, $1 an hour, that's $200 a week. That's $800 a month for a bookkeeper. That's not right. We know that. The average monthly bookkeeping client is $400 a month. They're already off, but you've lost the sale because they see it as an expense that they can't justify. You tell them that you're $50 an hour and they say, I don't even make $50 an hour. Advantage to the hourly rate. You've done the work. You've got to chase a check now. Now you're at the mercy of whether or not this client of mine is going to respond to my invoice. Are they going to pay me? When are they going to pay me? Am I going to get paid now? Am I going to get paid in 30 days? Am I going to get paid in 60 days? Do I keep doing next month's work as well, even though they haven't paid me for last month's work? And before you know it, you're thousands and thousands of dollars. And in those instances, the likelihood of you getting paid is almost none. Negative thing I say is business owners, they don't ever want to talk to you. Worked with them. Do you ever want to speak to your attorney? Now, I know you knew you needed to speak to your attorney to ask questions, but did you ever want to have long conversations with your attorney talking your case? No, you didn't, because they're charging you every time you talk, every minute in increments. Complaints that business owners have about is I never want to speak to them. Every time I talk to them. So I don't ever speak to them and I just figure this stuff out on my, and then go back and they correct my mistakes at the end of the year, where they're getting paid or charged a premium price to do that. So they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. Either way. The hourly rate. I know I said this is the last thing, but this is the last thing. Hourly rate. Let's say you pick up a new client and you calculate that it's going to take X amount of hours. This is the workload. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be entering all this type of data for you. I'm going to be processing it. I'm going to be putting the reports. I'm going to charge you I'm going to charge you $50 an hour. And you get them to agree to that $50 an hour, and that's great. And the first couple of months, that's awesome. An hour times 8 hours a month. But what happens over time? You become more efficient at working on the same client and doing the same workload. Will auto-populate, so it takes less time for you to do the data entry. And if you're charging an hourly rate, that means because you got more efficient, because you got better at doing their books, that's not a good deal. Ostrom's book, In the Black, is one of the 9 principles that a deal is only a good deal if it's good for both. Them getting the same amount of work done is a good deal for them, but it's not a good deal for you. How do we balance that out? What do we teach? We teach that you charge a flat monthly fee. Get out of this realm of being viewed, be seen more as a you charge the flat monthly fee by that value based on the number of transactions that the business has. Tell them how many hours it's going to take you to do their books, based on the scope of work that they have, based on the number of transactions, based on the consulting time that you're going to bill them for. Multiply the transactions by a transaction fee, anywhere from 50 cents to $2. Add $100 to that for the consulting, so they can call you during the month, email you, and they can have that communication with you. But it's a monthly sit down where you are going to coach them based on the actual findings from their accounting information. If it's here, they don't get it. Arguing with you because it's $400 a month, they don't get it. What's the point? The point is you're going to help them lower their taxes and increase their profits. They're focusing on the fee. They're not realizing that this is not operating expense. Not an operating expense. Is an investment in profitability. Got to sell yourself as an investment. Do your job correctly, what are you going to do? You're going to pay for yourself. You're going to save them a year to pay for your services. That price, that means they don't understand the value. Your job is to learn how to overcome that resistance. You don't negotiate. If they're not willing to pay that much, then you take away some of the transactions that you're going to enter. Maybe you have them enter the checks. Maybe you have them enter the deposits. There's about 2 different types of transactions that are going to be counting when you sit down to interview teach our students how to do this. Out of that argument about hourly rate on the flat monthly fee that they can plan on, that they can budget for. They see it as, now I can speak to my accountant and they're not going to charge me. That's great. I can utilize that information. You don't have to chase a check because you get paid up front. Card doesn't clear. You go to charge them and that card doesn't go through. You just say, you know what? This month until that card goes through. So to run, or when can I process that so I can do your books? In a position that I've seen so many other people who didn't follow this strategy check, and that eventually follow their business. This is theory, a concept we think is good. This is what we're finding with our students. If you're interested, we can teach you how to do this in a seamless way. That is what Universal about is making things seamless, getting your payments automatically seamless. How nice would that be? Boom. Before you even started doing their work. You know, I need 20 clients. 2 or 3 clients that you have, you get 3 or in this system. So, talk about what Universal Accounting does to facilitate this. The what. This is how we do it. But we don't just teach our students, we coach. We understand the importance of having perspective. Perspective. I don't know if anybody's ever worked with a coach before, whether it was a sports team or a life coach or a business coach or a nutrition coach or a physical trainer. The reason that people are hiring coaches, the reason that this industry is blowing up right now, the coaching industry, is because, get it, they understand that I'm down here. Look at this guy at the bottom of the rock. He's down there at the bottom of the rock. He needs assistance because he can't do it on his own. He needs somebody that's up at the top going, look, I've done this. I know where you're at. I can see what you're doing right now. If you step over to the left, look, you can't see it, but I can because I've got that different perspective. And that perspective is included in the curriculum that we give free coaching support to our students. They get an academic coach, they get a bookkeeping coach, they get a tax coach, they get a QuickBooks coach. As the senior marketing coach for Universal Accounting, decade, I know the value of this, of getting somebody on your side that you can call and bounce ideas off of. Think about it. You're telling your clients that they need a coach. You're telling your clients that they need a consultant as well, for you to be working with the consultant. Back to that testimonial that never came through for us at the beginning of this webinar. I think I took it out thinking I wasn't going to play it, but changed my mind. So this is Scott Barhold, the lady over to the right. This is Beth Bishop, both students that I've had the pleasure of working with. Scott was a CPA. Play you his testimonial. This testimonial came 12 days after being in a presentation like this. Scott was a student out in Orlando, Florida. Scott is a student. He's still with us today. And had tried starting his practice on his own and was struggling. I need to do something different. So I'm going to play you his testimonial. Let's listen to that. And like I said at the beginning of this webinar, I want you to think, how would it feel for me if I was calling Scott with the same report?
Hey David, Scott Barhold here. Just let you know, out of the first 4 meetings, I've already landed my first account. To start up work and set up faith. Letter of engagement and getting all of the bank information. He understands that it will be charged. He instant receive it. Additionally, I'm getting $30 per month, which will also be charged at each payroll interval. $100 a month client. Woohoo! Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
12 days now, you're calling me up, telling me that you just picked up a $400 a month client, dollars cash up front. What does that mean to you and your business? Brand new business, or your existing business where you're looking to start to add clients. You just picked up a $400 a month client. That's $5,000 a year. That's $29,000, $30,000 to that client. You just added $30,000 to your business. Now, this was Scott sharing his testimonial. I had the opportunity to work with Scott. And one of the objectives that Scott had was, by the time the year ended that he started working with Universal Accounting, his wife had given him the goal that he needed to be at $72,000 in billings. This email is from Scott. He's celebrating a major milestone in his accounting business. My wife and I had already discussed that if I did not get the practice to $72,000 by the end of the year, I was going to have to go back to repossessing furniture. Seminar in May, I felt defeated and lost. Relate to that? You're trying to do this, but you're feeling defeated. You feel lost. You don't know. You've got that confusion. When I came home, I felt empowered. Mark it on your calendar, November 16th. I've achieved my year-end goal of $72,000 with 2.5 months to go. Place me about $85,000 by the end of the year. So this is a guy who started working with Universal Accounting in May of that year, and by November, his billings were at his billings were at $72,000. Would it be important for you to learn the same formulas, the same techniques, so you could get the same success? This is your business. You've got to ask yourself this question. Now, I'm going to play one more testimonial from Scott. This is a year business working with Universal Accounting. He says a couple of things that I'm going to highlight, that I'm going to make sure that we focus on, because it goes back to Think and Grow Rich. So take a listen to what he says. And if you can't hear it, I apologize, but you can read along as he's sharing this testimonial. So take a listen.
This is Scott Barhold. Months since my first visit to Utah. Actually, this week will mark 12 months. Thanks to you, I shared with you my projections for the year were about $36,000 was a 12-month projection for what my business could do. It's been 12 months. Started at where I've arrived. My billings were a total of $103,000, better than 3 times. I still use, it taught me in practice. The quantity of my clients gone up, so is the quality. Looking for clients that have a pulse and can plug a mirror. Clients that value what I do, that are willing to work with me, I bring to the table. It is not just data entry, let it file it, it's so much more. I'm now better able to help my clients have benefit more from what I do.
All right, I'm going to stop him right there. There's some really powerful things that he shares. First off, 12 months, $103,000 in billings, better than 3 times what he projected. How awesome would it be if you accomplished that? I know you can, because what Scott did was followed a formula that we teach people. It's the same formula, and if you want to learn that formula, we'll talk about how you can learn that formula. The next thing that I think is crucial to look at, paragraph. He says, I'm no longer looking for clients that have a pulse and can fog a mirror. Back to that thoughts become things concept, that's what he expected he was going to encounter. And I'll tell you what, if that's what you're focused on, then that will be what you attract in the situations and the people and the circumstances of your life. If your dominant thoughts are, I only find clients that are barely hanging on, they don't have any money, they're always struggling, then I guarantee you're going to find. He says, I'm no longer looking for, I'm looking for clients that value what I do with, that are willing to work with me and understand what I bring to the table. That's not a coincidence he was able to accomplish. It's not a coincidence that he earned $103,000 in billings, because he was focused on finding clients that were willing to pay him that. And then he says, I truly believe I am now better able to help my clients, and that the clients benefit from what I do. Concept of thinking as an accountant shift CPA to being a profit and growth expert. If you want this to happen in your business, then we've got to teach you what we taught Scott. Same thing with Beth. Beth was a bookkeeper working in Houston, Texas. She was worse, and she had Michael Gerber's entrepreneurial seizure one day at the office, and she thought, you know what? I bet I could start my own practice. If I started my own practice, I could actually outsource this work from ladies from my church who needed. I could not only start a business and make more money and keep more money, but I could also help other people out at the same time. That I got from Beth after working with her. It says in the first paragraph, I just want to let you know how thankful I am that I went to a Universal Accounting Center seminar here in Houston. 2 years, I've gone from more 40 to 60 hours a week in the corporate world on someone else's schedule to running my own thriving bookkeeping service with 6 bookkeepers working for me. Down in the second to the last paragraph, she says, in just the first quarter of this year, I've invoiced more than my annual gross salary when I was working so hard in corporate America. And she only does, she says, I'm on track to make more than I ever have before on my schedule and not someone else's. More relaxed and confident than ever before. Free to be a blessing to others with my excess time. Doesn't get much better than that. She just people start their own business and do it successfully to be happier, more relaxed, have excess time and money, and to be a blessing. If that's why you want to start a business, then follow Beth's footsteps. Help you. Let us teach you. Do you know, in the heyday, her billings were $240,000. She sold the practice. She now works getting clients, marketing, helping people in the Houston area. Here we go. That follow the program. The program that I want to talk about is this professional bookkeeper certification course. This is a 60-hour home study program. Hours that we teach students. We cover a variety of different industries. In Module 1, again, I'm going to go back to that statement of I wish I had $1 for every time I heard this, because times, and by multiple, I mean many, where students have shared with me that this first module, that's a review of accounts and the general ledger and financial reports and different business structures, they tell me how needed this retraining, because for years they'd been pigeonholed and they forgot the things that they never learned how they apply with small businesses. And that's where Module 2 comes in, because in Module 2, we start using practical application of the principles with the different small businesses. I'm going to show you here in just a moment the 12 industries that the students get to work with. And I want you to know, they're not just reading a manual video, they're listening to an instructor. They're creating a set of books by hand. We're taught in this first portion of the professional bookkeeper course. They're doing it by hand. They can learn to work backwards in a software program if they find a mistake. If you're going to pick up a set of books for a previous bookkeeper that didn't know what they were doing, whether that's the business owner or one of those knuckleheads that we talked about at the beginning of this webinar, if you're going to pick up the books, you've got to be trained to be able to work back and find the problems. And this is why we teach it without the aid of a computer. Entire set of books from beginning for 12 different industries by hand. Module 3, we teach cash and accrual. Which industries use cash, which industries are going to use accrual systems. We teach you how to audit your work for errors. Hopefully it's not even your work. Hopefully if you're running a valuable business, you're doing what Beth did and you're outsourcing the data entry work. And if you're outsourcing the data entry work to people, you've got to know how to audit the work for errors. But then we teach profit-making strategies. We show you the financial reports. You consult, you learn how to give those directions that should profit make. Excuse me. So these are the industries that the students do in the professional bookkeeper program. So you have a furniture store, a convenience store, a clothing store, a manufacturer, a dealership, a contractor, a nonprofit organization, because they need bookkeeping, a deli, a medical office. Every one of these is going to relate to the other ones that are out there. An industry that doesn't relate to one of these, that's what your academic coach is for. That's why you're assigned unlimited student-initiated support for a minimum of 12 months, where you can call and email your coaches that aren't just guys reading a book. They have their own practices as well. So you get to do a set of books for each one of those industries from beginning to end in first by hand. Now, this is where most schools that teach bookkeeping stop. They teach how to do it. Not all of them teach it as in detail as we do by giving the 12 different industries, but we give you the 12 different industries so you can have that confidence, so you can speak the language of their business. Because look, the baker, the books for a clothing store and a manufacturer and a dealership and a contractor and a nonprofit. I'm not a nonprofit, I'm a baker. I've got different needs than a medical office does. 10 clients that own a medical office and a photography studio. That's great. Tell me about bakery books. Tell me what you know about my books. This is why it's important to be able to speak their language. They don't care that you're a CPA. These are expensive. What they care about is that you understand their language of their business. So module 1 has a test at the end of it, because there's a designation on the line. Module 2 has a test at the end of it. After the end of that second test, there's a midterm on a review for module 1 and module 2. At the end of module 3, there's a practice test for that module, and then there's a final exam. And if you pass the final exam with Universal Accounting, you will earn National Bookkeeper designation of PB. Accounting gives out. That logo on the top left-hand corner, that becomes yours. You put that on your marketing materials. You put that on your business cards if you choose to. Designation means more to you than to anybody else. You'll have earned that designation by only passing the final exam with a 90% or higher. That designation to our top students. And so to you, that will mean I've been trained and tested on a set of books for 12 industries, and I passed with exceptional mark. That's how you earn the professional bookkeeper designation. Now, a lot of people say, well, can I take the test multiple times? You can take each one of the tests up to 2 times. After the second time, there's an administrative fee to take the test. But the goal is you do the test at the end of module 1, you do the test at the end of module 2, you do the test at the end of module 3, and if you are getting forward and you take the final exam. The scores you want, that's what your coaches are there for. The actual curriculum for the bookkeeping. But like I said at the beginning of this webinar, it's not your bookkeeping skills that are going to make you successful. It's your ability to build a successful practice. It's your ability to learn how to market, and that's where I come in as your marketing coach. And 4, to teach you those 12 competitive advantages. I gave you the first one for free today. There's 11 more letters and examples of business cards to you to make sure that you've got the things that you need as you go out and to talk to these business owners. Here is where meets the road, because instead of just practical application, take that and go out and get clients and make that money like Scott and Beth did. That's going to get you those clients, and that's why we include it. I'm going to show you a little a video from some of our students. These are recent. I don't know if you noticed it. Scott and Beth's. I love their stories, so that's why I've got them in there. Kind of a creature of habit. Stories in this presentation a couple years back. These testimonials I'm going to play right now, these are from current students from this year. So take a listen.
I absolutely loved the online classes with Alan. He is by far the best instructor I've ever had in any kind of schooling. I loved his style, his theory, and philosophy of how to teach and how to train. In order to learn the theory and the background, we use your books. He's really the fundamentals of what you get or why. Then there was a lot of practice that gave you hands-on experience. By learning it the old-fashioned way, it really sets you up to comprehend the Alan's classes were not about making you the best computer expert or software expert. It was about the fundamentals of accounting. That's what is so valuable about those classes. Selling point is you get a curriculum coach and a marketing coach, and then you get a coach that actually helps you once first client. That has been invaluable for me to have those coaches that I can call and email, but still real world. I don't know of any place that does that kind of thing. It's just been great.
Issues without a master coach that was assigned to me. It took my practice to a whole new level, being able to convey what I know to a total stranger or to a client anytime I needed to.
Learning things well. I had good access to my instructors. He taught us the old way. I needed to really get a handle on debits and credits. They were very helpful and still are for that class.
This course. I worked in corporate for many years, but QuickBooks, I thought Alan was great on the DVD. He's a CPA, and they also have marketing courses to help you find new clients. You can't maintain your business without clients. So marketing is a very necessary course to take.
Work with UAC because they have great materials, great resources, great marketing, phenomenal coaching, help, and support after. It's well worth your time. The effort that you put into it will manifest back to you. She's my academic coach. She seemed to call it at the time when I was at a crossroads of, gosh, I'm not quite sure what I need. Where do I go next? Who do I ask for help? She was really great about that. Trevor helped me with QuickBooks and Adam with accounting questions. I appreciated so much that they take extra time and go the extra mile to resolve my questions. He has been my marketing coach, and he's just amazing. He encouraged me, and every time I start thinking negatively, he helps me switch it so that it's positive. I'm running a successful business. I'm working on my first client and preparing for my second client, and just really excited about it.
Got that. She said, I'm running a successful business. That is something that we focus on in the process of running a successful business. I wanted to share a little bit of instruction on the Professional Bookkeeper's Guide to QuickBooks, because if you're going to be working with small business owners, you're going to need to learn to be the expert with QuickBooks. And let me make this point very clear so there's no confusion. There is no better training program on the market to how to be an expert at QuickBooks, because remember those did by hand? Now, 12 industries using QuickBooks. Program is great because copying often in the class. The way that it works, you have your screen up, the instructor comes on in his little screen. These are all pre-recorded, so you study when you want to study. Comes on the screen and he shows his screen. You turn your QuickBooks on, he does it, you do it. Just like you're copying off of the best student in the class. So when I said a program to teach you how to be the expert, it's because you create an entire set of books from beginning to end. We have a QuickBooks desktop version, and we also have the online version. So the students are able to get certified as a QuickBooks specialist. This is the second designation that our students can earn, and they only earn that by completing the module, the final exam at the end of the 4 modules. This is about 30 hours worth of study time. And in 30 hours, you can be certified as a QuickBooks specialist, which means that you have that confidence and competency to go out and work with the small business owners in the software. The next program I would like to talk about is our Professional Tax Preparer Certification Program. Now, this is a program that we're really proud of, because in the state of California, if you need to earn your CTEC, we have a special module for our California students that we will send to you. And by completing the exam at the end of that module, you can have your CTEC certification earned. It's also recognized by the IRS for those of you that have your PTIN and need to get the continuing professional education for the renewal of your PTIN. It is 4 modules as well. Modules who are the individual returns, that the front side and the back side of that 1040 form. Comes online. This training are there for you to download the books, and you can print the books yourself. If you'd like to, you can do them online. The accounting is that once you're a student, you're a student. No expiration on the courses, and you don't have a time frame that you have to complete them in. The online access does have a limited time frame, so it's a minimum of 12 months up to 24 months. The good news is this professional tax preparer program comes with 24 months of online access, 24 months of coaching support, and 2 years of federal tax updates. So this is a really beefed up program. It is, the PTP program is the course for you. Module 3 is where we get into the sole proprietors, the partnerships, the LLCs, the S Corps, the C Corps. I don't know if any of you have ever worked for Liberty Tax or H&R Block, but you know an individual return can be anywhere from $200 to $300, and you're looking at 10 to 15 minutes, $10 an hour. A business return can be anywhere from $600 and up, and they're paying you $10 an hour. Good money, and not leave money on the table if you're already doing bookkeeping. Learn how to do the taxes. The experts that are recognized by different states and the IRS. Module 4, how to market. And believe it or not, marketing is different for taxes than it is for bookkeeping. There's some strategies that work for taxes that don't work for bookkeeping, and vice versa. And the good news that I just want to make sure that I underline is that we do not teach you to go out and cold call. We teach you to utilize relationships, to leverage relationships, establish relationships of trust, to use a competitive advantage. And on the corner and dress up in a costume and hire somebody to do that. We teach you to go to those relationships of trust. The professional tax preparer program, 70 hours setting. It is online as well, and it's 4 modules. 2 years of federal tax updates, 2 years support. If you've got questions on it, I can give you some answers on it. And unfortunately, right now for me to be answering those questions, but I will be introducing a way for you to reach out to me, and we can set up a time to talk about your specific situation. So that's professional direction that you need to give you that perspective. Back here, take us off the screen. What gives me to be traveling for, gosh, I'm going on, I started traveling in 2000 for Universal Accounting. So 9th year of going around and teaching. What gives me that peace of mind is knowing that I'm not just offering a program that I've seen work. I've coached people through it. I've coached people to success, but I'm offering the ability to get enrolled into as a guarantee. And not many schools offer this type of a guarantee. It's 100% if after you complete the course and you feel meet your expectations. Return the materials to Universal Accounting, and they will provide 100% refund of all the monies that are paid. There's something that I need to point out here, because it's if after completing the course, that means you need to finish the modules. The course and it doesn't meet your expectations, is ironclad. They will refund the money that you pay for the tax and the QuickBooks course. There's a little bit of peace of mind for you if you're thinking, okay, is this a worthy investment for me to make in my business? Because it's guaranteed. Now, the Universal Blast program that I'd like to speak about, this elite marketing program, just gets for people that have already got the practice going and they know they need to ramp up marketing. So we review the fundamental marketing and sales strategies. We talk about the client agreements and the letters and presentations actually in this program. You get to see the monthly fee calculation demonstrated live in front of you. There are scripts and rebuttals about overcoming resistance. Remember, I said you had to overcome resistance, but we have you create a personal market SWOT analysis with you to make sure that we know who you are and what your strengths and weaknesses are. I had a student that had me convinced that it was against her religion to go to a networking. Networking is one of the first things that we talk about, and she had me convinced religion to go. It wasn't got her SWOT analysis from her that it was her fear of public speaking. Wasted months because I didn't know. That's why we say it's so analysis from you. But to have a marketing plan by the time you finish the Universal Practice Builder, one of the things I think at its core about this program is that throughout the 30 hours, it's about 18 hours of video time, a case study periodically throughout the course as a marketing for these fictitious companies. So the first 3 case studies, that's what not module, but in case study number 4, it's the case. It's at the end of the program where we give you a plan and we say, this is your time. Now, as the marketing consultant for these other firms are going to take what you've applied to them, and now let's apply it to your business. Looking at the talked about those fundamental things, these amplified the Universal Practice Builder is marketing on steroids. This is more amplified. In the first 4 of the bookkeeping course, those are no cost. In the Universal Practice Builder, there are going to be some costs associated, but you have the cash flow coming in so you can justify some of the different strategies. Natural relation is huge. As a marketing coach, one of the most important things to establish your connection with strategic partners. Partners are, they're not friends. These are partners that work in an industry different from yours, but it complements yours. And I don't have enough time to go into it right now, but in Elizabeth, New Jersey, who utilized this one marketing in a month and a half, had 14 bookkeeping clients by just learning. Is that important for you to learn? Huge. You got a network. Working, you need a coach. If you don't know how to network, you need a coach. If you think you know how to network, but you're not getting clients, there's different organizations, but it's all about how you participate in those organizations. Seminars, webinars, very effective at getting clients. Watch this webinar that will realize they need to work with Universal Accounting. So this is a great way for us to get our name out there. If that works for us, if the seminars that I travel and teach every week are effective and get us clients, how important is it for you to learn how to do the same type of a thing? There are 4 different seminars, webinars put together, ready to go. Files for QuickBooks loaded and ready to go. Flyers ready to go. 21 to get the class taught how to and leverage their relationships. We can teach you how to get somebody to pay the entire day. Social media is big. Social media database about the Universal Builder is on, because industry benchmarking is where you are no longer in the back, where accounting becomes Roger Connect, the president of Universal Accounting. He likes to say, this is what makes accounting sexy. To take your clients, and instead of just doing key comparisons month to month, quarter to quarter within the business, that's important. But if it's important to do that within the more benchmark against the industry. With the BizBench Accounting has purchased, we give our students the opportunity to create an industry benchmark. You can benchmark 20 key based off NAICS code. So you're to every other business, the industry standard throughout North America. This report, which is a 40-page detailed report for you to keep, and a little summary report that you're going to give to your client. Areas the company is strong in. A lot of times, decision to certain marketing expense because but with this information from this report, look, we've got this area of strength that we thought we were going to eliminate. What's that going to do to our business? It automates, it automatically gives you a report, very detailed report. I've seen 4 to 5 pages of recommendations, of suggestions that we can start implementing to improve the performance of business. A marketing tool about it. Why is this a marketing? Speaking at let's say you're giving your 10-minute presentation at a BNI chat and you introduce this report and you say, I'm willing to do it for free for everybody that's a member of this chapter. Now, anywhere from $1,000. I was teaching in Florida where a guy, when we were introducing this report, he told us that he was paying his CPA $1,200 a year for the same report and that it's worth every penny. You offer it for free. You can generate unlimited reports for a year. So you offer it for free. And when that business owner networking group comes up and says, hey, look, okay, I already have an accountant. I'm not interested in switching, but I really want that report. That sounds phenomenal. For free? Yes, absolutely. In the door. This is 100% accounting. This is accounting on a different you as a consultant. This is what business owners, especially the younger millennials, this is what they're looking. They're not getting this in that $99 bookkeeper for free. If the guy already has an accountant, down with that business owner to place a business. I'm so glad we're doing this. I understand you have an accountant. Here's what I need. Month's profit and loss statements. And they get that deer in the headlight look and they stare at you and you can tell that they don't have 12 months of financial reports. Or you have the opportunity. I'm confused because you told me you have an accountant. And they say, well, she does my tax for me every year. Oh, now we've got some clarity on what an accountant means, this business owner, and this is your opportunity to teach them what makes you different. This is how you get clients. This is how you generate that revenue. It's quick. It's easy to use. Your spreadsheet that we provide to you with the data, it's loss statement and a balance sheet, and in a blink of an eye, you can have this report that makes you look like an accounting wizard for these business owners. Universal Practice Builder has the BizBench program that we offer to our students to really take you to that next level. We tell you to be a profit and growth expert. This is how you become the guarantee for the Universal Practice Builder. It's a little bit different than the guarantee in the tax and the QuickBooks course. The guarantee is that after following the steps of the Universal Practice Builder for 12 months, increase of more than $30,000 in annualized billings, earn all of the materials and we will refund. We're telling you that this program is worth at least $30,000 in new annualized billings. And as a marketing coach, I'm telling you that that is the minimum amount. If you're doing the Universal Practice Builder, using the techniques, following the program, if you're coachable, if you're working with me as your marketing coach or the other marketing coaches that we have, if you're utilizing their support, if you're following that program, this is a turnkey solution. That's the minimum that you should be earning. The programs are online. It has some workbooks and DVDs along with it. There are some send out for testing. for you. But we can get you online access to these programs immediately. You can have to take work DVDs with the courses that's available in the workbooks and DVD, and then the bookkeeping. It's also available online. We update the courses immediately, so you get that benefit. You've got in the online program, we have a knowledge base and the testing center, and there's even a forum for the students to go in and talk with each other and share stories of success and share stories that are working for them. So that this becomes inherent that gets you to that just aren't getting to by yourself. So wrapping it up. I know that this was a long presentation, but my live class is actually 3 hours, so we're just 5 minutes shy of 2 right now. Let's review that are standing out that we've learned. First off, number one obstacle that you have to overcome being yourself and that fear. And I really want you focusing on what you want to accomplish. If you need help with that, you need a coach. You need to be calling me, setting up an appointment to discuss that. There's 27 million small businesses in the United States that have less than 20 employees. These are your opportunities. That's your market. We know is $8 are what we want to focus on. If you're going out there and if you're on features, you're not going to get success as quickly as you would if you sell yourself on the benefits. What they get is more important to them than what you do. We talked about the importance of a flat monthly rate based off of the scope of work, avoiding the hourly rate. If you want to learn how to do this, we can teach you, train you, and certify you to be a bookkeeper, a professional tax preparer, and a QuickBooks specialist. Your success is guaranteed. It is the time to start. We can be ready before tax season comes, out of the woodwork, needing help with their books to get them done. The only success from what you want to accomplish, from having those clients, and the way that you can overcome fear is become a student and get a coach and follow a proven program. Let us use our personal expertise at doing this. Myself personally, it's 11 years as a marketing coach. The other coaches, the academic that we coaches, have well beyond that. Your partners in business, so you can be in business for yourself, but you don't have to do it alone. That's what successful people before you have learned, is that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've already done it. So here's the call to action. That's me down there. Call me up, set up an appointment. Your personal situation. I am willing to carve out 30 minutes of my day to speak with anybody that wants to talk with me. I want to know where you're at, what's going on in your business, where you want to go, what your struggles are, and overcome them. So schedule your appointment now. There is a link that you can click on that will take you to my online calendar through Calendly. Select the time that works best for you. There's not a time that works good for you. I want you to email me. If you want to speak to me, shoot me an email at scott@universalaccounting.com. Let me know that you listened to the webinar. I will have a special offer to give to those of you that call me up from this webinar to say thank you for not only also calling up and discussing your situation. So there's a couple things that I can do to make this an even sweeter deal for you. So let's get an appointment time set up so we can talk and we can get what is going to get you to that point in your business that other people have gotten to. Now, there are credits available for continuing education learning credit. It's up to $2,000 if you're doing it to acquire something that will help you improve your job skills. You can see. Here's how I'm going to end. It is right at the 2-hour mark. So if you can see yourself doing this, working from home, enjoying that benefit, and if you're willing to work just as hard for yourself as you've worked for other people, and if you're coachable and can follow a program, and you feel that you would be a good candidate to partner with Universal, then let's talk. This is the time to do it. Bill says, analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions if and when they were changed. People who failed to accumulate money make decisions. So let's do this. Let's just start making the decision to call me and let's talk. I want to know Success Associate is going to be. I know you're out there. I'm looking for you. I want to hear your story of struggle, and I want to turn it into a story of success like Scott and Beth both did. To teach my live class. I want you there. Story with me. So let's start. Call me up. Appointment on my online calendar. Shoot me an email, and we can discuss your situation. I know there's limited times on my calendar online. I also work as a coach and a consultant for individuals, so I'm going back and forth between the tasks that I do, and I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you being here today. Let's just go ahead and end it for now, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day. Let's talk soon.